This is the Tigers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It happened. It finally happened. It's a miracle. Thank the Lord. Thank the lucky stars. Whatever you believe in, the Detroit Tigers won a baseball game. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. And look, I know there's 3 more games, but quite literally, I believed this Tigers team was never going to win another baseball game in the year 2025. So we're going to celebrate tonight. I understand there's 3 more games to win. The job's not done. And the Guardians and Tigers are technically tied atop the AL Central, with the Guardians having the tiebreaker. But the Tigers are off the schneid. They looked like a different baseball team tonight. And I once again have hope. Finally, we're going to take your comments. We'll have our biggest talking point, our turning points, and everything else. But oh my goodness, I didn't think we were going to have this moment ever again. I thought the Tigers were going to go on a 30-game losing streak to end the season, but alas, they finally chalk one in the win column, and we've got a regular season that boils down to 3 games against the Boston Red Sox on the road for the final weekend series of the regular season. As always, as I mentioned, I want to hear your comments. The comment section are filling up, which I absolutely love. Make sure you like today's video. It helps us out a great deal. Go ahead and subscribe and everything else. Check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley and tune in for tonight's post-game show, because we're going to have some fun. We're going to make some jokes. We're going to look ahead to the upcoming series, and we're going to take a deep collective sigh of relief and a deep breath because the Tigers won a baseball game. And again, I don't know how many times I can say this. I didn't think we were ever going to see this moment for the remainder of the regular season in 2025. And we begin where we always do. Our biggest talking point, final score in this one, Tigers 4, Guardians 2. It is a win. How'd we get there?
This is what you'll be talking about.
Something clicked. I don't know what it was. I've screamed into this microphone for the entirety of the 8-game losing streak, begging and pleading for AJ Hinch to do something. I've cursed Scott Harris and Chris Ilitch and the everything else associated with the front office of this organization. And we've watched the demise of the Detroit Tigers, an epic choke job, an absolute collapse in every other sense of the word. We watched our Cy Young winner throw the baseball between his legs like a long snapper on a field goal. We watched this offense go completely silent for the better part of 8 straight games. We watched, again, one of the biggest collapses in MLB history. We went through it all together, collectively together, and now we finally have a victory, and something clicked where this team was ready to go, and they started believing. They started having an actual presence at the plate, and it begins. You got to give, listen, I'm giving a ton of credit to Jamai Jones in the top of the first inning with the home run to left field, and that to me felt like the biggest relief. And listen, I didn't know if the Tigers were going to win the game at that moment. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew, okay, this team has a pulse. This team has a sense of the moment and the importance of this game. And then you add into that, it's contagious because Wenceel Perez goes yard in the first as well. Tigers up 2-0 after 1. And then Javier Baez continues it in the second. And what did Javier Baez do? He went the other way. What a concept. Am I right? I mean, he goes to right field. He actually takes what the pitcher is giving him, and he hits an RBI single into right field. It was just absolute bonkers. I mean, completely wild to see Javier Baez actually go with a pitch and not overswing and take a huge hack on a ball he couldn't do anything with. But again, a lot of really good things happened tonight, and everybody that has just been enduring this losing game after game, this choking the division away game after game, we finally have some sense of hope heading into that final weekend series. Now, and again, we're going to talk more details about this, but the Tigers go to Boston to play the Red Sox, and the Guardians are hosting the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers have nothing to play for. They've been eliminated. They have had a really disappointing year. At times, their offense has been inept. They've had really good pitching with Jacob deGrom and obviously Nathan Eovaldi, who's now injured. And it'll be interesting to see if the Rangers can do the Tigers some kind of favor. But listen, the Tigers control their own destiny in terms of a playoff appearance, whether it be a wild card versus the actual division title in the AL Central. But the Astros have been terrible. They lost once again today, and the Astros lost to the Athletics. So with it all playing out, the Astros go to LA to face the Angels. So they're on the road for the final weekend of the series. So we'll have those late night games. So usually the Tigers will be done before the Astros when we do that scoreboard watching, because the Astros and Angels don't play until 9:40 tomorrow night. So it'll be a fun weekend. It'll be an anxiety driven weekend. But the Tigers can control their own destiny to make the playoffs, but they are going to need some help from the Rangers to beat the Guardians and give them an opportunity to win the American League Central, because the Guardians have that tiebreaker. But we've been patient. I've rambled on. We understand the magnitude of the moment. It's what makes it fun. Let's get into the comments. Hannah Banana leads us off. Hannah Banana from the 989. Shout out to the Midland, the city of modern explorers. She says, OMG, what is this feeling? LMAO. That's how I feel. You forgot what it feels like to win, and I don't blame you. Amber is up next. She says, OMG, they won a game. Thank God. Now got to win the last 3 games. Exactly. And it's exactly what it comes down to, the final weekend of the regular season. And you guys are cracking me up with these comments. Joel Jackson says, we won a baseball game. OMG. All right. And Braylon Dennis says, finally, thank God. And you guys are cracking me up. Rick Combs says, Resurrection Thursday. That's literally what it feels like. Demetrius McNeil, he's an everydayer, says, even though the Tigers lose the tiebreaker to the darn Guardians, the Tigers can win division all 3 games at Fenway Park. Yours truly is going to Chelsea for the cycling race on Saturday. DJ, play that song. There you go. Have a good race there, Demetrius. We're a community here. Jason Walter says, win awesome. I can get back to listening to Scott in the morning. Yeah, shout out to Scott Bentley on the Locked On Tigers daily show. And hey, I got to give a shout out. This is a good point from Rick. Will Vest was really good in that 9th inning. He bounced back. He looked like the Will Vest of old and strikes out the side to seal the win for the Tigers. That was huge. All right. We got to keep an eye on the Red Sox as well. And they are losing right now. But again, a lot of this, they're down 6-1 in the top of the A, so likely a loss there. And if you look at the wild card standings in the American League, again, the Tigers securely in a game ahead of the Houston Astros for that final playoff spot. It really comes down to, everybody else after that's been eliminated. So Rangers, Royals, Rays, et cetera, et cetera. So the Tigers have a 1-game lead over the Astros and a game and a half behind the Boston Red Sox. But for the Tigers, you're looking at the Cleveland Guardians and the Houston Astros. You win the Central, or you beat out the Astros for that final wild card spot. And if we get greedy, sure. I got to believe if you come back on the Red Sox, which obviously that would mean beating the Red Sox over the weekend, the team that you're playing, you're going to put yourself in good position to win not only just the Central, but also edge out. If worst case scenario, the Tigers went out and the Guardians went out, the Tigers will at least be ahead of the Red Sox for that. Instead of having the 6th and final spot in the American League, they'll have a wild card spot that's not the last of the remaining options that are available there. So lots going on. And hey, this is fun. Listen, it's ups, it's downs. There's been a lot more lows than highs lately, but hopefully this is a sign of things to come. And I agree with David here. Finally put a game together and the bullpen showed up indeed. And which, by the way, I got to give a shout out to tonight's starting pitcher. And I know Melton didn't go super far into the game, but 3 2/3, just the 1 earned run, gave his team a chance to win, and then the bullpen took over from there. I know they get the 1 run off Holton, but Finnegan really good, and Will Vest in the 9th really good. Tommy Canley went an inning and a third. So a collective effort from this bullpen, which we needed it. We needed it. I love it. Riley Greene gets a home run, and I know Riley Greene and the Tigers in general left the bases loaded there in the 5th inning. Didn't love that. Got to be better with runners in scoring position. Got to be better when there are opportunities, but we can't get picky with this team. Just win the freaking game. And they did exactly that. Okay, let's take a quick timeout. Be right back to look ahead to the remainder of the regular season against the Boston Red Sox, as well as our turning point and our player of the game. That's next on Live Locked On Tigers Postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by our good friends over at, let me tell you exactly where, our good friends over at FanDuel. America's #1 sportsbook is FanDuel. That's right. The NFL season is here, and listen up and listen good, because now that the NFL season is here, FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using the FanDuel app because it fits however I like to bet, whether that's player props, maybe building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, and whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup, it all adds the excitement on FanDuel. So you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by Rougiette. That's right. What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? Confidence. Pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. That's exactly where Rougiette's Go Long comes in. It isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula so you can get hard and go the distance. The effects can last up to 36 hours, and that's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rougiette.com. That's RUGIET.com and use promo code LOCKEDON MLB for 15% off your first order. That's Rougiette.com, promo code LOCKEDON MLB. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you. Tigers win. The Tigers win. They beat the Guardians to salvage the finale, avoid the sweep, 4-2, the final. And let's get into our biggest turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Listen, I'm going to go the very first inning because those 2 home runs, they just woke this team up, and they were so desperate to have some sort of shot of adrenaline, of excitement. You see it on the faces of these competitors, and I've been critical of them. You've been critical of them. We've all been critical of them, and rightfully so, because we were so desperate for some life from this team, to see an ounce of success, and they gave it to us tonight. And listen, it only takes one game for your boy to get believing in this Detroit Tigers squad. So all tied up atop the division. I understand the Guardians have the tiebreaker, so you can technically say the Tigers don't necessarily control their destiny, but this is a new look team. And I know it's only one game. I know, but you could just see it on their faces. They are back. They are back. And I am back to believing in this team. I am ready to get my heart broken once again because, listen, maybe they're just setting us up for the ultimate heartbreaker because, as I mentioned, the Tigers have the weekend series against the Red Sox. The Guardians had the weekend series against the Rangers. And now the Astros have the weekend series against the Angels. So if you're playing the odds, do the Tigers have the toughest series? Probably, because they're the only team taking on a playoff team. Sure, but it's baseball. Crazy things can happen. Let's see what happens over the weekend. But appreciate everybody tuning in, and let's get into our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
We got a couple of guys who deserve an honorable mention here, but again, I just have to give it to Jamai Jones and the home run that essentially lifted the curse of this team, because that's literally what it felt like. I mean, you hadn't gone into a game with an excitement and an optimism on this Detroit Tigers team in weeks. The craziest stat I saw was the Tigers had not had a 3-run lead in a game since September 10th. It's September 25th, folks. That's more than 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And when Jamai Jones hit that home run in the first, then Wenceel Perez hit a home run in the first, and Javier Baez singled to right, the Tigers were up 3-0 in the second and a 3-run lead for the first time in 2 weeks. But now it all comes down to what can you do this weekend. We're going to take it game by game. Looking forward to that. And, we're going to have you covered on the Locked On Tigers postcast. So we'll have a post-game show following the conclusion of tomorrow night's game. You've got Casey Mize, and the Tigers haven't announced their starter for Saturday. And right now, if needed, Tarek Skubal will start on that Sunday. And it's likely that he will, in fact, start on that Sunday. Obviously, things subject to change. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate everybody saying thank you for the show. Shout out to Amber, who says thank you for the show. God bless you. No, God bless Tigers fans. God bless this baseball team. We need a postseason appearance, and we are so close. And even though things went to hell in the month of September, there's still a fighting chance. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you like today's video. And hey, we will be back. I love this Locked On Tigers community. I love everybody that tunes in. Thank you so much for your comments. Like today's video, subscribe. And what's the schedule of the games, you ask? Well, let me just make sure I've got this all straightened out and who the Tigers are playing. Okay, so Friday night game, obviously 7:10 Eastern start. And then Saturday, 4:10 Eastern start, which is kind of odd. And then Sunday is everybody starting at the same time, that 3:05 Eastern time. So kind of different times throughout the course of the day, but is what it is. And hey, we've got a final weekend of the regular season, and it all comes down to this. I cannot wait. Looking forward to talking to everybody tomorrow night after the Tigers and Red Sox opener. And it all comes down to this series. We'll do some scoreboard watching. Tigers against the Red Sox. You've got the Guardians taking on the Texas Rangers, and the Houston Astros against the LA Angels. Those are the 3 series to watch. See you next time on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Good night, everybody.